We have hip hop has a nepo baby problem. Low key, big problem. I guess. Actually, not even. I don't even know if it's a problem, but the big thing that people are complaining about in Hollywood today as well. Basically, the kids of the offspring of celebrities who get like it's fast tracked into fame. But yeah, see what this video is all about.
With artists like King Harris and Coi Leray
Man.
constantly making headlines recently, I thought it would be a great time to discuss hip-hop's Nepobaby problem. Typically, rappers dream of the day they have finally made it out of the mud to make sure that their kids can have a better life than what was afforded to them. So what happens when these same
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I guess that's the goal, you know. You want your family, you want your offspring to have like I guess the opportunities you didn't have, you know. Sometimes that doesn't always bring the best results.
children that were born with gold spoons in their mouths try to make it on their own, while acting like their parents aren't a big part of the reason they made it in the
T.I. is a
first
legend, though,
place.
man.
It's your boy Luesta, and if you like weekly
He's the one that coined trap music for all the young bucks out there.
video documentaries like this one, make sure to subscribe. Let's start with someone whose father's empire might be crumbling at the moment, but has left his son with some massive shoes to try and fill.
It's gotta be crazy, and since we talking about King, it's gotta be crazy in the blood.
With that being said, all this stuff, yeah, Diddy's having a lot of demon details been coming out, but King Combs, low-key, very talented. He's dropped like a bunch of records that I really fuck with, so yeah, he obviously got fast tracked, but I mean it helps that you're getting all those bad boy samples, but he's talented.
Bloodline, and I'll ask King this as well. Just in the bloodline, is there an expectation
Of course.
what he has to do?
I'm hardcore on
I
him.
can
You know what I'm
imagine.
saying? Like I'm gonna be honest, it's almost like affecting our relationship.
King, jump on over here real quick, fam.
Ladies and gentlemen, my son, the heir to the throne, up next, and one of the freshest, dopest, newest MCs in the game. His real name is Christian Combs. He goes by King Combs.
Christian Combs is one of Diddy's 4 kids, with the on-again, off-again love of his life, Kim Porter. Ever since he started dropping music in 2016,
peace, Kim
he's been
Porter.
insistent that he'll be the one to carry on Bad Boys' legacy and tried to get his father's blessing.
I know I got big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And I know what I have to do. And
It's low-key, he looks exactly like his pops. And I don't know, does anyone know if he actually writes his own stuff? But I'd be interested to know. But like I said, I really vibe with the records he's putting out. And yeah, again, it does help that he's having those samples cleared right away.
the day I brought it up to my pops that I really wanted to take it serious and be a rapper, entrepreneur. He told me like, yo, you can't do this and be playing around with it. You really gotta focus and be about this. Like, you can't play at all. Like,
Since then, Combs has insisted that
facts.
he's the man
You coming out the gate being one of these, like, not even just a rapper, one of the biggest moguls, you're under a magnifying glass, you know? You're gonna have to come out the gate hard, you know? Pause.
man to bring the once great label into the next generation because he's the heir to the throne. Bad boy, that's my life. That's the legacy I was born into. I've always been a bad boy for life. I want to take the legacy to the next level and make a name for myself. Despite the fact that he's grew up in the lap of luxury, Combs has spent much of his career
Well, he's a
collaborating
kid
with
of a
street
billionaire.
artists ranging from O3 Greedo to Pop Smoke, who he claims he was with the night before he
R.I.P.
died. He was like, yo, you gotta keep doing
Drill ain't been the same, man. I don't care who they try to plug in there. It has not been the same.
what you're doing. You're doing your thing. I see you. You're hard. Combs claims Pop Smoke told him. That's just something that stuck with me because he didn't even have to say that. He didn't have to say anything, and he just made it known that he rocked with
Could have also totally made that up as well, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
me and what I was doing. Whether or not this story is exaggerated, it doesn't change the fact that he got a feature on Pop's first and best received posthumous album, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, on the track Diana. Unfortunately,
fire album.
it was on what was easily the worst rated track on the album. Rather than just trashing the song, some people simply weren't buying the fact that Pop would have even signed off on it, and that he was only on the track because of his pops.
I think there's a few features on here that wouldn't be
calling
on here had
favors, you
Pop
know?
been alive.
Damn. Warrior Mall, man. Damn. podcast has come a long way, but they were pretty integral, man, in the growth, and they have their own thing going on. But yeah, this era was pretty dope though. I mean, it was really was slingshot everything to where Joe is now. Yeah, awesome.
I don't think King Combs would have been on there. I'm not saying he shouldn't be there. I don't think that he would have been on there had Pop been alive. I don't think that record would have been on the album, period. I think he would have scrapped it.
Even though he's got features with everyone from Chris Brown to A Boogie with the Hoodie, and even his father's girlfriend Young Miami, King Combs may have the roster on.
I want to say former girlfriend now. Supposedly, the rumors are that she's like, I guess since that allowance ain't coming in, she ain't really being as supportive as she, I guess he may have thought she was gonna be. But like, who actually would have thought otherwise, low key?
On his side to act like a star, but the numbers just don't quite add up. To date, he's still only pulling in under 500,000 Spotify listeners per month. And despite this, Combs has still rejected the idea that whatever achievements he's reached had anything to do with what he was born into, before talking about how much he's putting on for Bad Boy the next minute.
Not really, you know, heavy is the head that wears the crown, so you got a big legacy to fill up too. And right now, Bad Boy be #1. Let's go, bitch. Feel like I'm blessed. You know, we're gonna take the legacy bar further and further. Bad Boy to life. You know?
That sound like an AI voice, fam. I don't know. That just sound crazy.
It really is. Can't stop, won't stop, never stop. Just stop hating, that's it.
There has been one real bright spot in his career so far, which is when he briefly topped the hip-hop airplay chart, which, if you're unfamiliar, is decided upon by what's getting the most spins on the radio, rather than how much the average listener is streaming it. The song that got him there was titled Can't Stop, Won't Stop
that
with
record was
Kodak
fire.
Black.
That record was fire.
Which not only used one of his dad's favorite catchphrases from back in the day, but samples an old Lil Kim in.
See? Exactly. Obviously records that they can easily clear. And it's like, these records, I mean, a lot of these records today, they come with that, a little bit of that nostalgia. So you're sampling these records that were already hits, and it's not a stretch to think that they can't pop off again. But even that being said, like, honestly, I do feel like the song was really good. So the beat, obviously, it didn't hurt, but the record itself was.
In Lil C's track. Still, King Combs celebrated this like it was a platinum record.
Taking over. Listen, Can't Stop, Won't Stop, Bad Boy. We got the song of the summer right now. #1 song. Pop's got R&B, I got hip hop.
You're saying to the naysayers.
Yeah, you know, it's earned, not given. You know, we're gonna prove it. Proof is in the pudding.
Still, after the interview dropped, people stayed skeptical of what he could do without his dad's name or catalog. He has no creative voice of his own though. All of his songs are samples or remakes of his dad's. Sir, every song you use is a sample of your dad's. Stop it. He wouldn't have cleared those for anyone else. The privileged want to be unprivileged so bad. His whole career is built on cosplaying as his father.
Yeah. Everywhere from the mannerisms to, especially some of like the, it was like basically trademark sayings, you know what I mean? But who wouldn't do the same if they was in that same position? But yeah, I could definitely see the spitting image of his pops, man.
But while one Nepobaby named after royalty is on good terms with his father and reaping the rewards of using what he built, the same can't necessarily be said for King Harris. The 19-year-old son of T.I. and his former R&B star wife Tiny, King basically grew up in front of the whole world, as he appeared alongside his family on the VH1 show T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle. But somewhere along the line, he started acting out and behaving like his name carries weight in the streets. So for the past year, he's been making tons of headlines, and never for the right reasons. King first popped back up in people's minds when he was seen behaving like a spoiled brat at a Waffle House because they dared to mess up his order.
Yeah, I'm outside. Okay. I'm outside. Come on, shake some. Come on, shake some. Come on, shake some. Hey, get your employees. Get your employees.
Almost immediately, he got clowned by the entire world for his entitled ways, and it even led people to look at T.I. and Tiny a little sideways. I don't care what I've done, how much money I've made, how many chart-topping songs I've made. If my son grows up and talks to people like that, I'm a failure. To the embarrassment of T.I.
You can see it's kind of like probably reached a boiling point with T.I. The fact that he, you know, on like, well, I want to say it was King's Live, that whole incident at the game where where they got a little physical. You feel me? But like, yeah, he's trying to create a name for himself. Honestly, I think if he was actually good, it'd be a whole different story. But I don't really think his music is that good.
And his wife, this only was the beginning of King trying to act tough online. And things got worse when he responded to an attempted robbery of his family in Colombia.
Boy, they think they gangsters. Boy, come walk these streets, man. This shit get real. They like, be safe. I'm like, what the you mean be safe? That sun go down? Well, I don't know what they got going on over here.
As he was constantly trolled for pretending as if he grew up in the trenches, King tried to clear up that he didn't really think he was a thug at all.
And people confuse standing on business as you being a thug, a gangster. I ain't that. I just stand on business principle. I stand on respect.
I don't know. You portray yourself like that, bro. Wasn't there a moment? Yeah, there was a moment where he had an altercation in the parking lot. Busted out he kind of insinuated that there was something in the backpack. But yeah, you gotta be careful. You move like that, people might take the offensive to defend themselves. You know.
Disrespect, that's what I go off of. So it ain't a nigga trying to be hard or gangster. Nah, it's just how I'm raised and what I can take and what I'm not taking.
Seen as someone who's basically a self-parody rather than a man to be taken seriously, his rap career hasn't helped things either.
You want to stand up for yourself, but you don't want to embarrass yourself, fam.
Music under the name Kid Sayin, King labeled himself the new king of the South, but the music hasn't taken off at all, and he's been clowned for his attempts and the gun-toting lyrics in his music. Must have forgot we watched his whole childhood on TV. It's funny someone should mention his upbringing in a lavish area of ATL, because this is clearly a point of insecurity for King. This desire to be from the hood really boiled over during a recent trip to an Atlanta Falcons game, where he and his family got into a very public conflict while they were there. In the process, King tried to say that he only spent his childhood at his grandma's because he wanted to be in the streets, only to get absolutely ethered by his own mom.
I don't want to be in these gates. I want to be outside in the neighborhood. That's why I want to be over there. But they don't understand that.
I'm going to tell you the reason why you want to be over there. Y'all ready? Because he can suck and pacify over there. He was 12 years old.
Eventually, man.
Mom's is tired of your antics, bro. You live at you go to grandma's house because you want to escape, but you still T.I.'s kid, man. Come on. You gotta compose yourself, fam.
Handled out of the way by his dad after he pushed his mom, Tiny might have just ended her son's rap career before it could even really take off. Cause once it's made known that you had a pacifier until you were out of grade school, there's just no way you're ever gonna be taken serious.
I'm pretty sure she was exaggerating, but to infer it still, man. It's definitely a bad look.
Seriously, let alone more successful than your father.
It's crazy. He should lean into the fact that he's like hip hop royalty. He's a prince, you know what I mean? I didn't want to say that. Gotta earn that. But like, yeah, I feel like like I said, if his music was good, there wouldn't be this like disconnect with other artists not giving him features, or just the reason why you're not getting these looks and stuff when you probably have the money to get these features, but you're not cutting it.
Who really made it out of Bankhead to become a star. But while King could kiss goodbye to any chance of escaping his dad's shadow, one Nepobaby who's managed to surpass her parents' level of success is Coi Leray, the daughter of former rapper, the Source owner.
Bro, that picture look crazy. Even though honestly it does look crazy, but like, yeah, bro, they made you look like a beaver, doggy.
And noted Eminem victim, Benzino, Coi exploded out of nowhere and initially managed to...
Let's not forget that Benzino did antagonize him, bro. Like, giving him subpar reviews on his albums, on the magazine that he hostily took over. Yeah, and even like the public outburst between them and the discourse, that's kind of nasty too.
To keep the news that she was related to Zeno under wraps. It wasn't until a Vlad TV interview that the notorious media personality brought it to the public's attention, where Coi Leray began to downplay how close she and her father were. It made it as if she had a rags to riches story.
My dad or whatever, when that When I got 9, old enough to really start understanding things, money wasn't flowing like how it was. When I moved with my mom, things were different. You know, food stamps, having to work at 16, finding a job. I dropped out, 10th grade, just really had to just figure life out, you know, and it also.
Yo, fam. She did make it seem like working a regular job was like most ghettos of ghettos things. I want to say I started working at 16 too, fam. But I feel you. Life can be hard, but not make it seem like the worst thing is working at Dunkin' Donuts, fam.
So humbled me.
Throughout her career, Koi, who already has more Billboard hits than her father, including collabs with Nicki Minaj and Lil Durk, has claimed that her dad wasn't really around and that she had to scrape by with everything.
It was hard to eat. My mom was picking up nickels and dimes. And then, you know, I would see father like mine or whatever, you know, he was, even when the Love and Hip Hop and all kinds of shit was going, but at the same time, I'm like this, how you get to live this life and we over here struggling?
To really rub salt in the wounds, she also suggested that her dad envied her success and that it had strained their relationship.
At first, it was rocky because I felt like he couldn't handle my success. I felt like it did come from an envious place, which is okay because he's human. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess she may be classified a nepo baby, but I do feel like Koi really did have to bust her ass on. She worked for it, you know. It wasn't handed for her. It's not like it wasn't handed to her. It's not like her pops was like really championing her to really get it. You know what I mean, musically anyway. I'm not gonna lie, the record's hit too, man. Like, super talented as well. Yeah, but let's not make it seem like working a job is the worst thing in the world.
And it's fine.
Alongside Benzino claiming that this was the biggest pile of shit he'd ever heard, and that he was tired of people pushing a false narrative about who he was and what he's done as a father, he's since gone on record to publicly discredit her story about having to scrape and claw in her youth.
She said she slept in cars. Queen never slept in no car that I knew about. You know, I had my daughter 5 months out the year. I was with her mother until she was 9, and I had her from 9 to 16, 5 months out the year. She'd be with me. She lived with me twice. She lived here in Atlanta with me, and she went to Campbell High School. Like, I was a single dad, and I was taking care of my kids, all my kids, and her 2 older brothers by 2 other men that wasn't mine. So when I'm watching this, I'm just looking at somebody, she looked like she's almost brainwashed. You know, like, she ain't never slept in no car and sold drugs and all this. Like, I don't know why she's running with this narrative.
Despite occasion.
Bro, I mean, narrative is just trying to sell a story, and I guess it's like more that hustling lifestyle is more appealing, especially in hip hop. So yeah, so I see why it may be true, and it also may just be the label trying to push that story on everybody.
Occasional attempts at reconciliation, the two just can't get back on the same page ever since she's gotten famous. She's literally even said that she was embarrassed to be his daughter and that she didn't want anyone to know. Over time, Benzino has responded in kind, even mocking her album sales. But despite all of the posturing from—
That's crazy when your own pops bagging on your numbers, dog.
Both parties, Benzino hasn't been able to hide that the whole situation does get to him.
I got thick skin, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one of them people like, let's just forget it, move forward. I went through a lot, man. And it was hard for me, you know what I'm saying, to be looked upon as like, I've been called all kinds of a deadbeat dad. Come on, man. I love my daughter. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be known as that. Like, I don't care what people think, but that hurt me. That's my daughter. I raised her. When people say I hate on Koi's career and jealous and all this, that's like, man, like, it's evil, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because my love is huge for that little girl, man. That's my little girl, man. You know, people see us all.
Yeah, I feel like there's love, but also ego there, obviously, to like take some of this stuff publicly, you know? But yeah, of course, nobody wants to be seen as somebody that doesn't look after their family, you know? Obviously.
Arguing on the internet.
You could see it affects them.
It ain't nothing that I'm proud of.
Was it hard though not speaking to her during that period?
Of course. This whole thing was one of the worst things I've been through in my life. I've been through hell.
While Koi has claimed that Benzino wasn't there to provide for her, one person that certainly never had that issue is Jaden Smith. Whether you know him as an actor, rapper, artist, or the guy who wore a Batman costume to Kanye and Kim's wedding, Jaden Smith has had every advantage afforded to him. As the son of one
Even then, also, he's put out some decent music too. He's put out some good stuff.
of the most beloved individuals in pop culture, or at least he used to be, as he completely ruined his reputation after slapping Chris Rock. Everyone
Slap heard around the world.
Fatality.
Crazy.
Everyone knows Jaden Smith is the epitome of what being a spoiled kid is like, and even popular celebrities such as Donald Glover essentially called him a Nepobaby before that phrase was even invented.
He is the first rich black kid, really, like, of royalty, where people are like, you're Will Smith's dad. He's the most visible example of it. He has room to fail. That's what it is. Like,
and it's safe to say that from time to time, he has done just that. At certain points, he's even managed to make himself into a laughingstock in ways that other people wouldn't recover from. The star of films like Karate Kid and The Pursuit of Happiness alongside his father, it initially seemed like Jaden was destined to be a major movie star. But over time, he decided to try out music. I didn't receive any intriguing offers, so I figured, why not explore my...
That movie, that was After Earth, right? I want to say that's the movie that, like, kind of killed his acting career. Pursuit of Happiness, obviously, he was a young kid. That was a classic movie, you know? I want to say also had Oscar buzz and all that stuff. And then he went and did The Karate Kid, which I don't know if it was that well received. Yeah, After Earth was trash. Supposedly, I want to say that whole movie was made as a vehicle for him. Basically, a movie written, and that movie was created for him to make him a star. Obviously.
My own path instead. Launched with 2 self-released EPs before he signed a deal with Rock Nation, Jaden's rap career hasn't been exactly critically acclaimed, including his debut album Sire, with famous music critics such as Fantano stating,
like, in general, this record is fake deep. There's just too much filler. There's too much awful moments. There's too much completely drab, boring, average, run-of-the-mill, trendy, thoughtless, and middlebrow songs on this thing for it to truly be entertaining and worthy of the runtime.
But while his music being seen as pretty mundane is one thing, it's how out of touch he is with reality that really cements the idea that he's everything wrong with the Nepobaby generation. Right. Across Twitter and in interviews, Jaden has proved that he thinks he's a great thinker, when most of the time, he's getting clowned for his ego. We don't think a lot of music out there is cool. Jaden once said about himself and his sister, Willow, so we make our own music. We don't have any song that we like to listen to on the PCH by any other artist. You know, a self-proclaimed icon, Jaden has reached a point where whenever he opens his mouth, he just seems more and more out of touch with reality.
I am very happy that I spent my childhood with more adults than I did with kids my own age, because I was picking up more things from adults than I were from kids my own age. I'm just like, dude, like, oh my God, like, can we talk about, like, the political and economic state of the world right now? Can we talk about what's going on with the environment? Can we talk about other things?
A man who has the self-belief required to be a star but doesn't have it all figured out, he once suggested that some of the biggest artists in the world were threatened by him during an interview with Complex. I
don't know about that, but see what he has to say about that.
always felt like little homie before, and that allowed me in all of their circles, said Jaden. But now that I'm on the charts next to them, I'm not really little homie anymore. It's more like, you can't hang out with us anymore. We didn't know you were making an album this whole time. We thought you were just little homie, giving us free water and shit. You're not really cool with us anymore. Forged by a childhood where he got everything he ever wanted and never heard anything but positivity, Jaden is at a point where he's proven to...
Them girls do not look good, man. I'm a fan of girls. I've had multiple sets and I don't know. Those look terrible.
To everyone,
Cletus grills, dog.
And that he is exactly what they assumed he was. A deluded rich kid. But in some ways, it's hard to blame him. This kid has clearly lived in a bubble his whole life, where he was told how brilliant he is. And with all the money in the world to help him, you can see why he turned out this way. With his mom Jada now public enemy number one, and Will's reputation tarnished by everything that's gone on. Now would be the perfect time for Jaden to...
With all this other stuff that's probably been going down, and obviously it probably treat him more like a friend than a son. I want to say Will's even talked about how he wishes they were a little more hands-on. But yeah.
Finally escape his parents' shadows. But unless he moves fast, he might be seen as just another Nepobaby, who couldn't accomplish more than the ones who brought them into the world, because they've never actually had to fight or struggle for anything they've ever gotten.
Crazy. Yeah, nepoism, man. Huge thing in Hollywood. Huge problem. I don't even say it's a problem. It's just it's a fact of life, you know? Like, your dad is a celebrity, you're gonna get fast-tracked auditions, you're gonna get fast-tracked to record deals, and even when you're not really cutting talent-wise. And, yeah, it's a fact of life, man.
If this video struck a chord, the encore is just a click away. Stay connected and stay tuned to Yo EQ TV.
Hola.